Welcome back to Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon anime review, episode number 59. We're here reviewing the 75th episode of the series, Sire, and it's also the final episode of Season 5. Yeah, the last one. So in this episode, we continue the fight where you have Belle, Mamma Mia, Ryu, and Holden basically fighting the king in a pretty brutal battle. My gosh, it is insane how crazy this battle is. It goes basically across this like hit him all over the place. Everyone's cheering him on, and then eventually, of course, there's a second win when Hestia shows up, along with Hatsuru, where they get basically Mamma Mia, Holden, and Ryu basically a level boost. Hestia gives him basically stats update, get everything all maxed up, and they'll buy him time, and then eventually, after that's finished, then he proceeds to use his Hestia knife to slice at him, and of course, Mamma Mia proceeds to hit him right in the gut, breaks her hammer, and then proceeds to give him to basically punch him multiple times in the gut. And of course, Holden proceeds to give him his third spell, which basically gives him basically makes him a speedster with lightning. Yes, literally makes him a freaking speedster. And if you're curious, was this made for the anime? No, it was not. Some people might think with this special boost, people think, oh, this is the anime basically just doing its own thing and making something that was not in the light novel. Except it was in this book. Yes, he did develop speed powers. And then he blasts basically the king. This is, of course, older. I think it's Hestia's right-hand man. Blasts over the frickin' wall. He stands up and kneels down. And it's like, can you save Goddess Freya? Yes. Of course, if it's like, huh? Yes. Then go. And then he races there. Meanwhile, though, Viola, basically the Catman, chases him for quite a while. And Hestia basically puts out a call like, somebody help him. And of course, even Lily basically does this too. So they have two members of the Hestia family try to attack him. And then all of a sudden we see Burn Bright, Forbidden Spell, and it's Wealth because he woke up last episode. And then once those two taken out, and then of course take out Venner, and of course Belle arrives at the tower where Freya is, and she by the way, a lot of her dialogue she has in this scene is completely from the light novel. There is virtually no change here. If you read the original light novel for this scene, it is virtually the same. They make zero changes. With good on basically J.C. Staff for doing this. Time Program with Love is Freya. Of course, they can reject him. He's rejecting her. And then he proceeds to slice off the flower, ending the war game. Yeah, it's a great scene between Freya and Belle. And then afterwards, it's revealed Freya disbanded her family thanks to her loss and had her assets seized. My guess is Hestia must do some of those assets because her family was declared the winner of that particular war game. Yes. Oh, by the way, it's revealed in book 19 that the guild took over her home. Yes. So we see Freya where she mentions, that tavern girl possibly joining. To Ryu basically joining the Hestia family, which also happens in book 19 as well, which it's like we're setting up the events of basically book 19 with this particular last scene of the episode, and talks to Mamma Mia, the fact she lost, and then she leaves, and of course we see the tavern girls with Belle, and she proceeds to give her crush on Belle, basically freeing her, and then she turns herself back into Sire. And Belle basically volunteers to be her protector. And says stuff basically probably wouldn't say By the way, it's slightly altered in the anime, but the scene itself is presented the same way as in a light novel, because the rest of her former familiar there basically watching him. Oh, by the way, Hilda refers to him as his idiot apprentice, which, yeah, he does it in the light novel too. And then they go off, and then of course we see Freya, where she sees an illusion of herself as Sire, and that's the episode. An episode, really damn good episode. This episode was amazing. And now talking about my final thoughts of the season. This season was really good. My only problem with the season is the damn production delays. The fact this thing was delayed frickin' twice. It could be 3 times because part of last week's episode, here's the weird thing. For some strange reason, I'm not sure why in the world did this, because they announced that the first week of February, the season's coming back. They aired 2 episodes that day, and then for some strange reason, don't know what happened, they delayed last week's episode, this episode, by 3 weeks. I mean, was there a production delay? I don't know. Maybe the episode wasn't ready yet. Maybe they didn't final touches on it. I mean, this is one of several anime that I was watching last year. They had to be delayed due to production issues. What production issues? Now, I've stated before, I'm not blaming this on the people who voice the anime. It's not their fault. It's not the writers' fault who write the scripts for these episodes. The production issues are probably on the part of the animators. They probably were falling behind. That is my personal guess. That's probably what happened here, is that they're falling behind, and my guess is probably the committee in charge of the show probably was like, okay, you guys are falling behind, so we're going to delay this to give us more time. Because everything was good until you got to those last, 5 episodes. And the quality of the episode was good. Oh, by the way, also forgot to mention the episode. This is really cool camera shot. We basically follow Ryu's POV. You see her basically running. And I thought that was a really cool moment. I almost forgot to mention that here. Because I think that may be the first time in anime I've ever seen it. Because I've only seen it also in a Sentai show. Kyuranger. Yeah, that was a popular thing in that show where they had several characters get those POV shots, where it's basically you see them from they're basically you see from what they see, and you see them running around before they finally finish the shot. It only lasts for like a couple minutes, but I always loved when they did this. Probably the most memorable thing about that show was those POV shots. I'm actually quite surprised that we had an anime that did that, because a lot of the time when I watch this anime, they don't generally have these POV shots. And this episode had it, which I thought that was really cool. Now, I have seen with this episode here, I've seen all 75 episodes of the series, including the one movie and the few OVAs the series released. And they've never had a POV shot part of this episode. Never. I know because I watched it. But this episode, this season, like I said, was really good. It only adapted 3 books and part of another book. Yeah, it started adapting from book 15 this season. Now, I had to basically argue with the Wiki site because, it was the full adaptation for this episode. And yet, here's the weird thing. Season 2 adapted book 8 for 2 episodes. Except they didn't do a full adaptation. They adapted part of the book. And with book 15, they adapted one story plus one part of another story. And that was it. They did that in the opening minutes of the first episode of the season. And the Wiki site basically decided to remove that because it wasn't full adaptation, which I thought was really stupid. Whoever basically was editing that site was really stupid. And but then pretty much from that point forward, it basically was book 16. I would say the only weakness I had for this particular set of episodes is when they adapted this book here. They practically skipped over a lot of conversations. Yes. Because this is my personal theory. I think because the studio was this team was used to having what it was last season, which was 22 episodes, it was only like 15. So they probably figured, okay, maybe we'll have more time, but clearly we didn't. So they had to cut a lot of conversations out. Basically, like the first episode adapted from this very book, like it was basically cutting a lot of conversation. It didn't cut a lot of the story. It cut a lot of conversations between various characters. Because basically it's like straight to the war game after basically everybody just volunteered off screen. Excuse me. Because the first two books were adapted at a really good pace for the season. And then you get to book 18. It starts out where it's like very quick. Really, really quick the first episode. But after the first episode, it does proceed at a normal pace. And do I think that the season could have used a couple more episodes to flesh out basically book 18? Yes. I definitely think it should have. It should have basically had it where, like... Oh, by the way, in case you're curious though, it adapted roughly like... If you're curious, like, what part of basically the book this final episode adapted from... It adapted from this very book. Also, one other thing. Belle gives Freya the pendant from the first for the first episode of the season that she apparently gave back to him, and basically he had the other half, and she apparently lost it, and he gave it back to her, which was kind of nice. It was kind of a callback to the season, so you could definitely say by the end of this particular season that we basically set up. Do I think we set up a season 6 basically within the season? I would say we have basically set up for a start of a season 6. Yes. Do I think it'll come out this year? I don't think so. No. I heard that the only reason why this season was even announced, where it came like 1 year after last season came out, was because apparently last year was 10 years since the first volume was released. Yes, 10 years since the first volume, which I'm like, damn, has it really been 10 years? Like here, well, let me find out here.
Here's your mail. You in the little end. It rained a while, so she's in now.
Okay.
Did you want to go to Walmart later?
Yes.
Okay, give me about half an hour if that long, so I'll be right
okay.
back.
Is she wet?
She probably is.
Okay. Let's see. In the terms of the Japanese anime, well, the Japanese release of it saying, yeah, when they announced I would say 2 years ago was 10 years. Yes, 2 years. Yeah. Well, a little over 12 years ago this was released. I would say as of 2 years ago was basically... It was probably announced at the same time they were working on Season 4. They announced basically that, well, it was 10 years since this book came out. Yes, book 1. I don't own this book per se. No, I don't. I started buying the books with book... I believe was book 10. I started buying the books. That's simply the reason for it. So... It's fine, the fact we got this one. Probably because basically they still have plenty of material out. But you might be thinking, though, like, as of now, is there the material for season 6? Not sure, because apparently the most recent book released in Japan, book 20, came out just 3 months ago, which is the same time they released book 14 of Freya. Yes, same month. Yeah. So yeah. So it's gonna be a while before they release it. My guess is we might get an announcement later this year, but I don't think we're getting season 6 this year. No, because they probably just finished releasing the season, so there probably is not going to be a season 2, not season 2, season 6. If there is, you might think it is in the material to do a season 6. I'd say so. I would say that, well, I would say if there is going to be a season 6, I would say the first thing they should do is finish adapting book 8. Because it was not the whole volume adapted for the season, for those 2 episodes. No, they adapted separately to Ares and a little bit to Hestia and Belle. But there's a lot more going on in the book. I would say you could do it as a flashback. Yeah, I would definitely say so. Mm-hmm. And they can probably do book 15 because they did start adapting this book. Yes, they adapted an interlude, a whole interlude, plus like part of another story. I could definitely see this one be adapted, book 8 and 15. Oh yeah, definitely. You can have basically like a slice life of a season. Yes, and you could probably just focus on these 2 books and not sure what else you can do. I would say that's probably the only thing you could do. One other idea you could do with this particular series is you would think because basically that the season's going really well, I would probably suggest doing a season 2 for Sword of Auroria. And you're thinking, wait, a season 2? Yes, because they did do a season 1, which was only 12 episodes. They covered the first 4 volumes of this series, yes, but they never did any more. As for the reason for it, I don't have any idea why. According to, so I asked somebody about this, why there's not been a season 2 for Sword of Auroria, the spin-off books. Because apparently no one watched season 1. I would think that, given the fact that these last couple seasons probably received really well, I would suggest, in preparing for more material release for a season 6 of this show, do their season for Sword of Auroria. You could do that. There's plenty of books to do their season for that one. Oh gosh, yes. Excuse me. There's also Family Chronicle. They could definitely do a whole season of that one. It's like 3 books. And there's also Astral Record, Argonaut. Yeah, you could do like a spin-off series where it's basically like tales of this thing. You call it like Tales Danmachi, just do for like Family Chronicle. You get the first season focus on the 2 read books in Freya. Have season 2 focus on Astral Record, which focus more on basically Ryu, which is like 3 books. Mm-hmm. And there's Argonaut. I mean, you can launch the anime as like as an anthology series, just adapting these books. You get the first season focused on Family Chronicle, second season focused on Astral Record, and third season basically Argonaut. That's the only thing I can think of you probably can do with this series as of right now until whenever they do more stuff. But I would suggest doing for Sword of Auroria because there's still plenty of books you could adapt for that one. Oh gosh, yes. Those are my personal theories. But as for this be season 6, gonna have to wait on that one. But if there is, like I said, do book for 1815 first, because there's an opportunity in those books basically to do a full season of that. Just do an anthology season. Yep, but yeah, that's particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do this like button. Next up is the Comic Corner. Then probably, I'm going to go out soon, so I'll probably do Comic Corner when I get back. So, here's what I do. Bye.